Trading Nut, episode 46.
Is because every time the trade goes in their favor, they start self-sabotaging their trades by taking profit, and every time they lose, they take a full loss.
The market's going to do something. Your job is not to fight it.
The market never, ever runs away. It's always there.
That personal diary of trading will make you a much better trader than...
I could be right about the direction, but wrong about the trade.
Don't focus on the monetary side.
Trying to make too much money on a trade is what I have seen killed every trader.
Your losses offer you some of the greatest insight you can find into your mistakes.
Relax, learn the process.
Candlestick pattern trading is a freaking trap.
Don't be in a rush to become a millionaire.
Let the market tell you what the market wants to tell you.
This podcast is not financial, trading, or investing advice of any kind. What's up, traders? Welcome to another installment of the TradingNut podcast. I'm your host, Cam Hawkins, and today we've got a trader by the name of Darko Ali on the show. Now, probably the best name on the show we've had. Anyway, before we get into this interview with Darko, I want to go over something that somebody sent me in an email just the last couple of weeks, and it was after hearing a question that I'd asked one of my guests. So the question I asked them was, what do you give up with successful trading? Now, this person's issue was, so they've found a system that works, but you only trade once or twice a week. So they were used to like struggling day to day, looking for trades and analyzing the charts, and then all of a sudden, they had this one or two trading opportunities a week. So really reducing down what they had to do. So for them, like basically, that's what he said. That's when the experimenting in my trading gets me into taking trades outside my system. I'm looking to fill in the time thinking that, and this is quotation marks, I should be doing something, brackets, work, for the money I am making. Now, I think this is a huge mindset thing here, guys. So this is that sort of 9 to 5 mentality showing its head again. I should be doing something. I should be doing some work for the money I'm making. That's the irony, I think, around trading is you can do less work. You have the ability to do less work to make the money. That said, you do need to put in the work up front, and there are other things you can or should or could be doing when you aren't looking at taking those one or two setups a week, and you want to fill in that time but still advance yourself. So a couple of examples would be backtesting. So you could backtest another potential strategy, but you have to have the mindset to be able to go, I'm going to assess that system as to whether or not it works before I place any trades on it. And it's just an experiment. It's like putting it in that experiment basket and making sure your mind doesn't trick you and say, that experiment is now turned into excitement and I'm going to start trading that. One of the things that I do is I build a lot of robots, trading robots. So that helps me just fixate on that so I don't need to do other stuff which is going to interrupt what I'm doing with the manual trading. So being able to either build them yourself, so I've got a course on that you can find out more on TradingNut.com, or you can, I've also got the Robot Traders Club where I'm building robots and releasing them in the club so people can try them out and see if we can find one that's going to make consistent income. So guys, whatever it is that you're going to fill that time in, it could be other education, it could be going off and educating yourself on something else in the markets or even your mindset and spending time doing that. So whatever it is, just whatever you don't do, the one thing to not do is to do things that are outside your system or strategy that you've decided to trade. I suppose that's the message here from that little quote out of the email that somebody sent me just the last couple of weeks. So hopefully that was helpful, guys. Without further ado, I'm not going to keep on rambling. Let's get on with this interview with Darko Ali. It's fantastic. All right, guys, we've got Darko Ali here on from Coach's Corner. So welcome to the show, Darko.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
All the way from Sweden, I hear it is today. It's a long way from where I live.
Yeah, it's the other side of the world. So it's fantastic with how internet is working and everything. So
it is quite incredible. I was actually going to go there earlier this year for a business trip. It never eventuated. I would have loved to have gone. But anyway, next time I go, I can always hunt you down and catch up for a coffee or whatever you guys drink over there and have a yarn about the markets.
Yeah, sure. I would love to have you over here. So just give me a call and we will drink some coffee and have some chat. Sure.
Make it happen. Yeah, cool. Well, look, let's get on with the show today. So we're going to go through a whole bunch of questions here to help the listeners out there understand what it takes to become successful at this game. So you trade Forex mainly. We're going to dive into that in a bit of detail, and we're going to start off with hearing a bit about you personally. So how did you get into trading, and what's your sort of journey up until today?
Oh, geez, that was like almost 14 years ago. So the first time I saw a chart was around 2006. And obviously I didn't know anything about trading. So the reason why I get like interested in doing this is because that I had some friends doing it, and I saw some charts, and obviously on the news when, the Wall Street news and people are shouting and, making money, and just like was an exciting environment. And I had obviously the wrong impression about trading, that I thought that, hey, this is a get rich quick, and, I can very shortly end my, my day job and just doing this full time and enjoying my life, and be mobile and have a laptop, trading at the beach, drinking some cool drinks, and that was obviously what got me started. And that was like completely the wrong mindset about doing things. So, and that was 2006, and obviously a lot happening along the way, which what I'm sure that you will be asking questions around the journey, how it went throughout those 14 years. So I just keep this short and say, I started 2006, and I didn't have any trading education to start with. And I did basically all the mistakes all the new traders do. And I'm sure that I did mistakes that people haven't figured out yet. So I did some, it was a very tough ride and a journey that was very interesting. So yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, what struck me there was, I mean, you mentioned the get rich quick, and I think that, like, just for the first time ever, it's just occurred to me, and I was thinking I should really tell some other people this that there is no such thing as get rich quick, but it's taken me this long to sort of realize that there isn't. And why is it? Do you think that, like, now you are where you are now? Why is it you think that people get fooled into? Well, not fooled, but just get sort of sucked into this get rich quick type mentality.
Yeah, I think it's from the society and the environment that we live in, because like every time I talk to someone about like, hey, I'm day trading, I'm interested in Forex and stuff like that, the second comment or question is like every single people, like independently from each other, as soon as I talk about Forex market or stock market, they just say, hey, so you are a millionaire. No, just like they just combine, like every time someone do anything with trading related, they must be millionaires. They must be like wealthy, and they have like tons of money. They have those Ferraris, Lamborghinis, hot chicks in the background. Just like, this is the impression, this is the picture that the society gives us. Like we see those Wall Street warriors, they have suits, they drive those fancy cars, and, all of those stockbrokers and Forex brokers and everything. The problem is these people make money by commissions. Many of them, they are not even break-even traders. And I have some deep insight with like inside the banks, how things work. So without getting too much into it, just to answer your question shortly, is that's the impression people have. And that's the impression I had as a newbie, as a rookie. And I thought, hey, let's get in and make some money and, tell my boss to, F off, and I go and live my dream life, and that's it.
Yeah, so I think people are just, it is obviously human emotion that everyone sort of, dives into and automatically, it's like inbuilt, like your sort of fear response to something or adrenaline response to something. It's just built in there. So let's dive into that journey that you had. Like, I want to hear what your very first steps were in terms of investigating trading as a whole.
Sure. That was like around 2006, 2007. So I was like in the beginning of my 30 years of age, 29, 30. And it was like a 30 years crisis or something. So I needed to do something with my life. I have a day job that I love and everything. So, but I just wanted something new. I didn't want to live an average lifestyle. And I had a clear vision in my head, like, I don't want to work for someone else. I want to be working for my own. And I want to do something that is not requiring, like, have so much to do with like going to a job or need to deal with people. So I figured out, like, hey, if I'm just trading, then I just need my laptop, obviously, and I can do that anywhere in the world that I want to. So I had some savings and my family's savings, my kids' college money and everything, and obviously I saw some stocks, Swedish stocks, that was like going very, very well. And I followed that stock for a very long time. And now we are like, I did some trading. I win some, I lost some. And then I had some beginner's luck, when you just pull the trigger, you have no idea what you are doing and you suddenly make money because the market is in a bullish market. It doesn't matter which stock you pick. Everything is going up, up, up. And I thought, like, hey, geez, I'm God's gift to the financial market. Hey, why did people tell me that this is hard? Like, people have been lying to me. This is easy. Like, geez, like, 3-4 months from now, I will be a trading guru. And I start investing more and more and more, and I win some more, And what I didn't know was like, 2006, 2007, everything was going up, up, up. And has nothing to do with me to be a financial guru or the God's gift to the financial market. And 2008, I said, I have enough. It was summer, July, August 2008. I invested my entire savings. Let's go big. Let's go big. I just bought everything with my entire savings, the entire, kids' savings and everything, family money. And this was, like I said, July, August 2008. And I say, this is it. By September, I will be a millionaire, and that's it. And if you go back and look at your charts, I picked the top of the financial crisis.
Oh dear, I knew that was coming.
I had no idea that my timing, it couldn't get any worse, and it goes by like, 1 month, price went down. It's just like down, down, down. I say, like, hey, what happened? For 2 years, I have been, winning some, losing some. I had some luck, and now everything is going down. I say, you know what? We just put more money in it. This is just, when price retraces, and we just, jump in and load the truck even more. And at some point, I didn't have more money to load the truck with, and I get margin called and say, hey, you just lost your entire savings. And this was, looking back 10 years ago or at least down to 2008, like, geez, I couldn't pick any worse timing for buying stuff, because for the next 2 years or 1 year, whatever that was like the worst financial crisis ever. So then I lost everything. Trust me, I couldn't sleep, eat, drink for like weeks. I was depressed. I couldn't tell my wife that we lost everything. She didn't know about this, and I was trying to find a way who stole my money. Like, I just called my broker, like, where is my money? And he said, you know what, you screw up. This is trading. You have to know this is a risky business. A risky business, geez. What I saved for like 30 years is gone. And they just told me, like, you know what, we don't want you having as a customer. You can go somewhere else because you don't have any more money to put into your account. You got margin called. You have like 5-10% left. Take those money and go somewhere else. And just like, if someone took all of that money with so short of time, like, who took it? And obviously someone who knew what was going on took those money, and from that was like a wake up call, like deluxe, like big time. And then I start like, hey, if I can educate myself, at least I can get my money back, and then I wouldn't touch this business. This is like, geez, what is this? This must be people tricking people online, stealing other people's money. This can be legal. So that was a harsh wake-up call, and from back then I start educating myself, and this is the problem with education is like, geez, I was around everywhere. Like I don't care where you go. If you ask, hey, was Darko your student? They will probably say yes, because every single online service I was like desperate. Hey, can you teach me something so I can get my money back? And most of the traders, or what they so-called traders, now after the fact, I knew that there was not, real traders. They just pretend to be a trading coach or pretend to know the market. They teach you some BS, EMA crossovers or RSI or MACD or whatever that is. And they try to show you stuff in hindsight, and you go and take those trades, you lose even more. And then you go back, hey, this stuff doesn't work. And they always find like an excuse why you shouldn't be taking that trade. And they are not like live coaches. They are just showing you stuff in hindsight. And I did that for another, 5, 6, 7, 8 years until I finally got my breakthrough. Basically, literally a decade, like May 2016. And that was like literally a decade later, I got my first breakthrough where I start understanding the market structure, like price action. And that was, I just don't know how much time and money I have been spending until I figured out what's working and what's not working. Because both you and I know that, I would say more than 80% of people that is pretending to be coaches or running a service, they don't even trade a live account. It's just like, things are looking so fancy in hindsight. And yeah, that was a very, very expensive lesson that I learned. And what I'm trying to do now is to make sure that people at least don't wait for a decade to wake up before to see what's working and not working. So
and so what I mean, that's a really interesting story. I mean, you obviously transitioned somewhere in that decade from stocks to Forex. Is that right?
Yeah, sure. I was trading stocks because I didn't know even that there was a Forex market. I went to every seminars in Sweden and webinars and such. Then I meet up with a guy that was introducing Forex to me. And when I saw Forex charts, that was like love in the first sight. Okay. Because I don't like gaps and stuff like that. When I saw like a very nice, those smooth moves in the Forex, and this guy told me that, hey, Forex is open 24/5. They never close. And that's like, geez, that's even better, because then I can be awake in the middle of the night and, make money, this and that. And obviously I lost some more. But once I saw Forex chart, I never went back to stocks. So from since 2008 and onwards, I only traded Forex. And that was it. And that I got introduced to Forex market, and I never went back to stocks, and that's it.
And what was your big sort of breakthrough there in terms of, 10 years or a decade of education, and you finally sort of made a breakthrough? Can you share with the listeners what that was?
Sure. The problem with a novice trader, like a rookie, and you don't have any experience, is that I didn't know that trading is 20% your trading system, 80% is your mindset. Okay. What I did was I joined a service, and they taught me how to do things. And every single time I had a losing streak, I started doubting my system. And I said, there must be something better out there that I can be trading. Then I quit and I started a new service, and they taught me something, and I said, hey, I made some money. Good. This is working. And then as soon as I faced my first losing streak, I freaked out. I was like literally Googling like, hey, Holy Grail for trading. Show me your Holy Grail. And at some point, it's just like, geez, you have been changing services like 20 times. And for some reason, I always went back to Coach's Corner where I was a student. I was a student first in 2011, and then I was like in and out going, quitting and coming back, quitting, coming back, quitting, coming back. And when I was quitting, I went somewhere else. And it's just like, a never-ending cycle. Like, even though I had a system that was working okay, I was like, hey, there must be a better system out there that is working more than what I have today. It's just like greedy, always search for something that is, out there, because I always thought that what I had was not good enough. I need to change something to get something better. And I was literally stupid enough to do this for a decade until I figure out, like, hey, it's not your trading system. It's your mindset. And when I understand that, I just start doing one thing. And because I asked my trading mentor, Vic Noble, which is the owner of Coach's Corner, and he was my trading mentor for many years. And I asked him, hey, Vic, I've been doing this for many years. Geez, I have a broken marriage behind me. I'm divorced, and I screw up so much in my life for this passion, and I really want this. This is my passion. I really want this to make it happen for me. So be honest with me. What's wrong? And he just told me, Darko, you are just all over the place. You are trading every single patterns out there. You are just jumping in and out. Just do one thing and do it properly, and accept that trading is a probability game. You lose some, you win some. Just because you lose doesn't mean you are doing something wrong. You could be doing everything right and still lose in the market. And I start trading big trades because big trade is more like a momentum trading because I always, all the courses and all the online and webinars, seminars, coaching services, they all told me, the trend is your friend until the end, blah, blah, blah. And, trading with alignment with a trend is always like to your benefit. And this big trade that he taught back then was suitable and in alignment with what I believed in. So I start trading that for only that pattern for a year on one or two pairs, and I had some phenomenal results. And I showed him my live account, and I say, hey, this is working. So that was May 2016, and I made that big trade my own. Like, I made it like more suitable for me as a person, and I introduced that also to the Coach's Corner back then, how I did that, and then that was when I understood what trading was. And obviously the big trade wasn't working for me, not because of the setup, it's because like you had to wait like 2 weeks for a setup or 3 weeks for a setup. Then I start, let's just build my own system from scratch. Now I've been like, playing around, doing this, wasting so much time and energy, money, and sacrifices from my kids, family, friends. Let's do this properly. Let's just, reset everything and build my own system that I believe in and that I can backtest, live test, forward test with a proven track record. And that was like 3 years ago. And just for, May 2019, just some months ago, I had my major breakthrough where I completely build my own trading system that is super powerful, and I'm really believing in it, and that's why it's working. And obviously I become a trading coach let's see here, November 2017, if I'm not mistaken, and I was a lead coach. I am a lead coach for Coach's Corner, where I introduce people to, the first thing I tell people is, because when people send me their charts to give them feedback, I barely see their candles. Like, they have 3,000 indicators. Like, geez, why do you have like four oscillators and you have like 3,000 EMA crossovers and literally 50 lines on your charts? Like, how can I give you any feedback? Start with naked trading, like trade naked. And I'm not no indicators involved. You don't trade. I don't want anything on your charts beside price. And I will teach you exactly how to read price action like no one else in the market. Okay? Because once I got my breakthrough and I have a proven track record by sharing my live account, I got headhunted by a brokerage firm that I had some connection with them and worked with them, got some training and stuff. And then I just quit that because just working for a brokerage firm / bank or hedge fund. It's just like, was so stressful. Yeah, it's just like, I just want to do this for my own and educate other people. And I don't want to, have 3,000 phone calls. Hey, why did you do this? Why did you do that? And, why did you move just like, what? Just leave me alone. It was not enjoyable. So I ended that after 3 months and just continue being a lead coach. And that's basically it.
And so one question came to mind, like when you see somebody or meet another trader and you sort of hear what they're doing or see what they're doing, can you sort of immediately go, like now you're sort of broken through the sort of, I don't know what it is, like a trading sort of barrier or the magnetic field, force field that keeps us all hunting for new strategies, strategy hopping, breaking rules, all that sort of stuff. Can you sort of see it straight away when you meet another trader and go, yep, I see exactly where you are in the process, and I know you've got probably, X number of years to get past that phase? Do you get to that level?
It takes me literally 30 seconds to talk with a trader for me to know if, like, I have 4 stages for a trader: stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and stage 4. And I explain those stages very clearly in my podcast. And it takes me like literally 30 seconds to talk with a trader to see if this person is a real trader or is it a demo trader or a fake trader, and also where in those stages they are. Most people are in the never-ending cycle. That's stage 1 and stage 2. And I just tell them, you are a stage 1 or a stage 2 trader. And I tell them also the remedy. What do you need to do to level up? And I have like a written down game plan for every single client. Like, hey, this is what you need to do. And the problem with the human being is that we as a human, like how the human brain works, it's super important to understand this. Is because we as a human being, we think that the solution or reaching something in life must be complicated. That means we always complicate things because we think the more complicated that something is, the better that is. And that's far from the truth, because the most genius, ideas in the world, trading and non-trading, is almost always the simplest thinking. Okay, so most people just overcomplicate. They think that trading is a rocket science. Like learn how to draw support and resistance the way the banks does, like the institutional traders does. Do it properly. When price is at support, look for longing opportunities. When price is at resistance, look for a shorting opportunity. That's not a rocket science. Okay, it sounds very simple, but it's not easy because you need to understand this properly, like how is the market structure is building. And to make a long story short, to answer your question is yes, it takes me seconds to see where that specific trader is at their journey. And I'm also sharing my journey with them. And I also give them a structured game plan, what to do to level up. And some people do and some people don't, because most people, when you have a bad habit, when you have been doing like the same mistake over and over and over, I have like clients been trading for 15 years and they say, geez, I didn't know anything about trading before I start being coached by you. And they were just wasted 15 years of their time by chasing the Holy Grail and indicators and EMA crossovers and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a very, interesting job to be a lead coach. And I have obviously worked for like 1,000 clients so far. And it's so rewarding to like, when someone starts being my client and, how they behave the first 3-4 weeks. And then, 6 months later, it's like a different person. And that's the rewarding for me as a lead coach. And obviously we have many successful students that got their breakthrough, went to stage 4, and now anything from trading for a bank to be a full-time trader or even to be just a private trader trading their own live account.
Cool. Well, look, there's some fantastic insights in there, guys. I'd dive back in and try and work out where you are on the stage, in the journey, or perhaps go and find Darko somewhere, probably at the end of the show, and ask him, get your 30 seconds off him. Now, we're going to dive into some insights into what your trading looks like at the moment. So, to start off with, what's your trading style? What would you call your trading style?
I would say I am a day trader. So I'm day trading, and I'm purely a price action trader. The only reason I have MACD on my chart is because one of the setups that we are trading requires MACD for the divergence, because we don't use that. So we just have that by default. So I'm a pure price action trader, and I have completely built my own trading system from scratch. You won't find this anywhere else in any books or any online services or anywhere else in internet. What I teach is very specific and it's very own design. So to make a long story short is I'm a pure support and resistance trader, and I draw my support and resistance in a very specific way. When price gets there, I'm looking for a reason to take that trade, and I trade patterns. Those patterns might be divergence, head and shoulder, and is something that I built ACAT, Advanced Candle Action Trading. And I'm mostly like 80% of my trade, if not 90, is Advanced Candle Action Trading. And you might say, you know what, you can read divergence trade or head and shoulder in any trading books or online. The only problem is I trade that completely different from everyone else, okay? Because if you want to, do what everyone else is doing, then let me tell you this, 95% of every retail trader who get into this business will never, ever make it in the long run. They will never, ever become consistently profitable trader. It's only 5% of those who get into this business educate themselves properly by a real trader, not a fake trader, a real trader, a real trading coach. That trading coach is showing you trades live way before they happen, because everyone is king of hindsight. Hey, buy here, sell there. That's just complete BS. They show you stuff before it happens. So that's what I'm doing. Support and resistance trading, day trading, and mostly advanced candle action trader.
Okay, let's get into some of the stats around your trading. So what would you say your winning percentage is?
I have 80% accuracy. That means 80% of my trades are winning trades, and I'm not counting the break evens. So 80% accuracy. It's diverging from 60% to 80%. So when I was start coaching for 2 years ago, I was a 60% trader, and it's getting more towards to 80%. And obviously last month we were maybe around 75, 73-ish. So I would say somewhere between 70 to 80% accuracy, and I'm always aiming for at least 2 to 1. And there are times when when the risk reward is 1 to 1 as well. So yeah, that's my and everything is verified by people. So I'm not just making those numbers up. Everything I do, if you are a Coaches Corner member, everyone sees every single trade I take on my live account. It's in the pre-market analysis that I'm doing every single day. So there is no BS or commercial or advertising stuff. It's just like everything I do is verified.
And what time frame would you be analyzing?
I always start with the monthly chart, go down to the weekly chart, and then watch the daily chart. When I watch these 3 time frames, I have a specific time frame combination where I enter my trades on the hourly chart only for the entry time frame. So my analysis is done with a higher time frame, monthly, weekly, daily, and then I'm reading the market condition, the market structure, identifying what the market is in a behavior, and then I time that entry on the hourly chart.
And how many instruments do you trade?
Because I'm doing this for a service, so and we are trading very specific system. That means we are trading basically like one thing. And because of that, we can scan through the charts. It takes like literally, I would say, 1 minute, 60 seconds to see if I have a trade or not, because my system is so specific. So to answer your question is, we are trading somewhere between 28 to 30 pairs. And that is currency pairs with gold, oil, and S&P. For gold, oil, and S&P, we just, I'm doing those analysis because we have many oil traders and stock traders, and we can apply those. What I'm teaching is applicable for like about everything that is tradable. It doesn't need to be Forex. It's working very well with the stocks, anything tradable. So 28 to 30 pairs, yes.
Okay. And what's the average trade duration?
If we enter the trade, well, it's mostly day trading, so it's within the same day, and sometimes we keep trades for a couple of days if we can day trade ourselves into a swing trade when we are in alignment with the higher time frame support and resistance. And I also tell people that when we enter that trade, this is more like a swing trade, but we day trade ourselves into a swing trade just to avoid having 200 pip stop loss or 100 pip stop loss. So by doing this is we minor our risk, but we extend our rewards.
And how many trades would you have running at one time? In a day, maybe. Yeah, in a day.
It depends, because we have a specific system. So we either have a trade or not. Sometimes we don't have a trade with the entire day, maybe for a couple of days. Like today, we have 10 pending orders. It's so different, and there's no. I don't have any stats for exactly how many trades we have per day or per month. We are obviously journaling every single trade, and we have a spreadsheet. So for the track record. So basically, I would say, everything from 0 to like today, we have 10 pending orders in one single day. So it's very. And this is the problem with trading. People wants to know, how many, if I buy your system, can you guarantee me a certain amount of trades every day or every week? The answer is no. There is no guarantees. You can be doing this, and the market dries out, summertime, Christmas, and everything. The market don't behave properly, and there might be less trades. And that's why it's so hard to give a specific number, because it could be less, it could be more.
And are all your trades pending orders?
We are trading only pending orders, yes. We never pull the trigger at the market, because we know, or no, maybe it's the wrong word, is we have levels that we are interested in. And we are obviously front running those orders, and we put orders in the market, and that's it. Because if you are clicking yourself in and out, it's self-sabotaging your trade. Because the best trades I ever had, and I'm dead honest with you, the best trade I ever had is while I'm sleeping. Because if I'm at my computer, and now I'm a professional trader, so this was an issue when I was a struggling trader, is you start micromanaging, hey, price is going into my favor, I'm up 5-10 pips, let's scale, let's take some profit. Because in every single book you have been reading, they tell you hey, you can't get broke taking profit. And that's the exact opposite. You get broke by taking profit, because many people is having plus 5 pips, plus 10, plus 15, minus 40, minus 60, plus 10, plus 15, is because every time the trade goes in their favor, they start self-sabotaging their trades by taking profit. And every time they lose, they take a full loss. And then even though you have maybe a 60, 70, or maybe even higher accuracy, by the end of the month, you're still down, because you have no idea how to money manage your trades like a professional trader. Because if you are looking for a holy grail, I will tell you this for free. Money management is your key. Just, let the profit run. Don't, scaling is for amateurs. Don't do it. I do scale, but I also know when and how to scale. Okay. If it's Friday afternoon, or if I'm leaving my computer or something, there are times when you can be scaling, but do it like systematically by default. Every time you are up 10 pips, that means, you need to work on your mindset.
Slightly deviating here. What about cryptocurrency? Have you traded them with your strategy?
I already lost my entire savings 14 years ago, or 2006 or 8. I'm not interested in. I don't know. I don't trade cryptocurrencies. Sometimes some people ask me to do some analysis. I do those for them. I'm not interested in cryptocurrency, and there has been so much hype. And what I learned in life and trading is, when there is too much hype around something, I usually just run away, because if it's too good to be true, then it's also too good to be true, because I have screwed up so much in my life, in my trading life. I'm too smart to be like, hey, you can buy this and buy that, go do some cryptocurrencies. Look how these people are making a fortune, blah, blah, blah. You know what? I keep those to the rookies. I just go somewhere else. To answer your question is, no, I don't trade cryptocurrencies.
It's interesting. Too good to be true, right? It's a bit like the get rich quick. For whatever reason, human beings are just like drawn to it. We're just drawn to too good to be true. And what does it take, you think, for somebody to get to your position where you just sort of go completely the opposite direction from it?
You learn from your mistakes. It's very simple, because if you like touch a fireplace and you burn your hands, and you are like obviously smart enough to not put your hands on fire again, because you know that you will get hurt. And if you're, pardon my language, stupid enough to not understand it the first time, obviously life will tell you along the way what's working and what's not working. Because the problem with, and this is again, how do human brain works? There are like things like services out there that are playing with your mind. They are like, they know how to manipulate you to take your money, and they have zero interest in educating you, because once your wallet is empty, they kick you out. Okay. And most people is like, I would say 90% of every people I talk to, they hate their day job. They honestly hate their day job. They are living for the weekends. And then every Monday they have like anxiety, and, they start feeling pain in the stomach to go to their day job. They are like feeling miserable about their lives, and they think this is their ticket out to the financial freedom. What they don't understand is that's a ticket to hell, because you will lose everything and you probably end up on street. We have several stories where people like risking too much, like they mortgage the house and they lose everything and they get kicked out. They literally live on street because they thought that, this was like their ticket to heaven, buying Ferraris and, that hot chicks massaging you in the background in the beach, and you have your laptop and you are making a fortune.
Actually, it reminds me of, now and again, not very often, but I do get the odd friend or family member calls me up out of the blue and goes, "Oh, I've just seen this thing. It's a Bitcoin robot, or it's a binary options, blah blah blah. It all looks legit. Here's the webpage." And I'm like, "Guys, just don't do it. Trust me, don't do it. I know what the game is, and you're going to lose money." And they're like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah, you are going to lose money. Guarantee it. Don't do it." There's no get rich. It goes back to there's no get rich quick, which we spoke about at the start of the show. Okay, so in the beginning, you've gone through it a little bit already, but I mean, what do you think the key thing is that made you different from everyone else out there who dives into the markets or dives into trading and then doesn't go back into it, or just gives up, or can never make it? What do you think was the one key trait that you had that everyone else didn't?
I found my passion. That's the answer. Trading was become my passion, and I got more or less obsessed with my passion. And the thing is that I saw a dream for myself that no one else saw for me, because my parents, my friends, my ex-wife, and everyone around me told me that you're doing a big mistake. And obviously they told me that for 10 years because they say, hey, it's time to give up. And you, at some point, you need to be smart enough to know when to move on. And I never listened to anyone else because I saw that. I visualized in my head that one day I will make it. And I saw it in my head to really feel it, feel the feelings or already be there. And I had my dream, and I did some sacrifices. When people was partying, I was studying charts. When people were sleeping, I was studying charts. When people weren't watching TV and going out with friends, I was studying charts. So every awakening hour when I was not working or spending time with my family, I was working on my dream. And yes, it took me a decade to get my breakthrough. And obviously, it didn't need to take that long for you to reach your goal. But obviously, I did some novice mistakes, and I didn't learn from it until a decade later. So for me, since day one, I was a kid. I never, ever had plan B. Like if someone asked me, hey, if this doesn't work out, what's your plan B? And I tell them, my plan B is to follow plan A. And that's basically it. I'm stubborn. And when I believe in something, and that's it, I just work my entire awakening hours. I'm literally working 18 to 20 hours each day to just reach where I am today. And I'm not smart. Trust me. And I barely made in school. I'm not a smart person, and I'm definitely not a talented person. I don't even believe in talent. It's all about hard work. How much can you sacrifice in your life to get to your dream? Most people don't, because when you face hardship and adversity in life, they quit. They go and do something else. For me, it doesn't matter how many, year in, year out, I lost for 8 years, 9 years, for a decade. I never doubted in my mind 1 second that I wouldn't make it. So it was if it takes me a decade, 2 decades, 3 decades, I will get there. So the difference between me and everyone else is I don't give up. That's the only reason.
And it is a common thing that people who come on the show do tell me is, that they work at it and it happens. So going back to what you were saying about, a lot of people that you see who hate their day job and go into work with anxiety, and then that sort of impacts anything they're going to do in the markets. What steps would you recommend they do take to really get this game?
Do you mean what risk they take to get into this?
Sorry, more like what steps should they take to start trading?
First of all, you have to ask yourself, why are you doing this? Because finding your why is very important, because if you do things for the wrong reasons, you will eventually give up, because there is no normal people that is doing something for the wrong purpose and they just, continue to do things throughout hardship and adversity. If you do if you're only doing this trading for money because you hate your day job and because you want to get rich quick, you will never make it. If you do this for the right reason, because you really love doing it, and I can be honest with you, I could do this for free. It's not for the money. I love doing the analysis. I love the market. I love the technical analysis that I'm doing. I could do this for free, and I'm dead honest with you. So to take the right steps is find your why. Why do you want to do this? Okay. Number 2, find a trading mentor that is a real trader, that shows you trades in advance before it happens, and they have a written down strategy. It's not subjective. A strategy needs to be at least 80% or 70, 80% objective, so you can go and back test it. If it's too much subjectivity, then it's just it's BS, because then you just make up your mind. If you have a losing trade, then I just find 3,000 reasons why you shouldn't be taking that trade, because it's subjective. Once you need to have a proven system that is subjective enough for you to understand. And it needs to be simple, because if you don't believe in it, if it's too complicated, the chances are you will abandon that system because it's too hard, too complicated. trust me, if I tell you my system, you will have yourself a big laugh, because it's not the most complicated system in the world. It's on the opposite. It's just like, it's simple, pure, and powerful. And I'm not trying to make this any sales pitch for my service or anything. I don't even need your money. It's just like, I'm just telling you, do things for the right reason. Find a trading mentor that is a real trader, and find a trading system that you believe in. It's simple, objective, and that's it. If you find it, go for it.
Cool. So we're going to dive into the next question, which really, I mean, you've answered it already throughout the show. It's about technicals and about reading a price chart. I mean, you've talked about the MACD divergence, you talked about head and shoulders, you talked about your support and resistance that you draw. What about the ACAD, is it, or AB that you mentioned? What
ACAD.
ACAD. What can they? What can my listeners out there, if they had to go away and study something that was ACAD related, what would you recommend?
Well, the problem with ACAD is it's 100% designed by me, so you cannot read it anywhere else unless someone is stealing my idea and put it on internet. So it's 100% designed and produced by me. So we are trading it in Coach's Corner, and it's basically drawing support and resistance in a very, very specific way. Once price get there, you wait for a candle action, and those candle action is obviously there are several books about candle actions, like pin bars, or bullish engulfing and bearish engulfing and stuff like that. We use a couple of these around key levels of support and resistance, and we time those with a very specific time frame combination. In this case, at the hourly chart, where we enter in a specific way, and that's it.
Okay, right. We're going to dive into the quickfire round. So these are 9 questions that are going to help the listeners understand a little bit more about what you've talked about today. So to start off with, Darko, how did it take you to go from trading newbie to consistently profitable?
A decade.
What's your mental approach to trading, and do you have any special techniques you can share with us?
Do you mean like how I'm trading on daily basis, or
more like a mental sort of trick to try and get people's mindset in the right space?
Every time I wake up very early in the morning, I start by visualizing my trading system. I go through the system in my head, and I'm also always listening to one motivational speech, and those are like for free on YouTube. I have a own list that I pick some of these, so it put me in a right mindset, because I don't want to be too happy or too sad, too emotional. I want to be as neutral as possible when I'm trading, and I never remember what happened yesterday. So if I had a losing day, I couldn't care less. If I had a winning day, I just forget about it even sooner. So I just start fresh, a neutral mindset, go through what I'm looking for before I open my chart. I close my eyes. I go through support and resistance, how I visualize those in my head, how I want price to be hitting those levels, put out those candle actions the way I teach them in my head. Once I'm done doing that, like maybe it takes around everything between 5 to 10 minutes, I open my charts. I look at those levels. Everything is clear. I either see a setup within 60 seconds, or I just move on to the next pair.
What's your favorite entry setup?
ACAT.
What strategies do you use to exit or manage active trades?
Support and resistance.
What's your recommended trading book?
There is no trading book that I haven't bought for like the first 5 years of my starting career, and I'm very sorry to disappoint everyone. And there's no single trading book in the world that tells you anything that works in the real life. Every single one of them are big BS, because if they were traders, they will never write a book. And the only book I recommend, sorry to sound harsh or anything, this is my reality. I literally have a library behind my back, and I sold most of them, and the rest I just threw it in the garbage. The books that you need to be reading is Mark Douglas, like Trading in the Zone, trading psychology books. Those are great, but like trading books, every single one of the books that I read, which is at least over 100, every single one of them are BS.
Okay, if there was one thing you recommend any retail trader spend the next month mastering, what would it be, why, and how could they go about mastering it?
Start to master your mind before you master anything else in life.
What's your preferred, how could they go about mastering their mind?
Develop yourself. Try to be honest with yourself. What is your positive side? What's your downside? Like, how are you as a person? Are you like stubborn, or are you, easy tricked, or easy, like people can like talk you into anything, or maybe you you have self-doubts, or maybe you are too insecure, or you are, you try to impress on people. Like, work on yourself, because becoming a better trader, you also become a better person, because you need to be as close to perfection as possible to pick up a dime from the market. So unless you know how you are as a person and you work on yourself, the reason why it took me a decade, because I had the worst personality for trading. I was very emotional. I was very easy, if someone told me, hey, EMA 2155, if those crossovers, that's the magic, that's the Holy Grail, I believed in it without questioning. Just like people could tell me anything and I just bought it, and you need to work on your mindset, because even though I give you my system or whatever that might be, and I'm very confident to say I'm trading the best system out there, and unless anyone proves me wrong, I'm still keep saying this. It doesn't matter. If I give you my system, you will still lose. Why? It's not because it's my system. It's because your mindset is poor. You need to work on your mindset before you work on anything else. So start with yourself. Once you start developing your mindset, how you think like a trader, then you start working on your trading system, which is around 20% of trading.
What's your preferred broker and trading platform?
The one I'm using, I've been using that for like a decade or something. I use FXCM UK. They don't pay me to say this. I have no connection with them. I just open an account with them, and that's the charting package I trust. And I've been using. There have been some struggle lately with their charting package, and it's like a bit annoying, but like 95% of the time is working. And I don't trade anything else. I only trade, or I'm using MarketScope. It's their like laptop version of FXCM TradeStation. And that's it. I don't like MT4. I will never use MT4. I don't like it. I don't trust it. And I don't trust it. Just like how you train your eyes. I train my eyes to trade, to see charts in a certain way, and I like the way MarketScope is presenting itself.
Next question, I think you've already answered. What's your worst trade ever? We're going to skip that. If you could leave our listeners with one piece of advice, what would it be?
Well, if you want to involve yourself in a trading business, I highly recommend you to be very cautious. Don't trade live money until you know what you're doing, and make sure you find someone that you trust and that have a proven track record, and don't give up. That's it.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Darko. The last question of the show is, we'd like you to give us the bones of a full trading strategy: entry setup, stop loss, take profit targets, market time frame, basically something our listeners can try it at home.
Sure. As you all see, let's see here. What I have in front of me, I'm not sure, is the screen showing right now, or
no. I'll tell you what we'll do. Why don't we jump on after the show, and we'll do a little YouTube clip so the guys can go on there and have a look at exactly what you're going to walk them through. How does that sound?
Sure.
Cool. So before we wrap up, what's the best way for the listeners to get hold of you?
If they want to send an email, my email is darko@forexmentor.com. That's DARKO @forexmentor.com. Make sure you follow us on social media. We have on Twitter is at FX Coaches Corner. And for Facebook, it's also FX Coaches Corner. And we also have a YouTube channel. You just search for Forex Mentor Coach's Corner, and you should be able to see all the videos that we are providing. And all of them are live trades that we are showing you what I'm talking about before the price got to a certain point, and then we show you the results. And you will get a feeling for how we are trading in Coach's Corner.
Look, a big thank you to Darko for sharing with us today. Everything we've discussed here, along with all those links, are going to be in the show notes. To find them, simply search for Darko in the search box on TradingNut.com. I've got to say, it's probably the best trading name we've had on the show. So that's Darko. Search for that in the the search box on TradingNut.com. Right, until next time, I wish all my listeners trading happiness and success. All right, folks, so there we have it. Interview with Darko Ali done and dusted. Now, there should be a video up on the YouTube channel that we recorded after the show. So head over to the website tradingnut.com to check that out, or there'll be a link in the description. Now, as I mentioned at the start of the show, if you're struggling with not staying on track with your manual trading, you're doing too much, you can't handle the waiting around for the next trade, then why don't you think about heading over to the tradingnut.com website, check out the Robot Traders Club. That's something to keep you interested and keep your manual trading separate from your other stuff that you want to do. Also, you could even check out Robot Builders Club, where I teach people how to build a trading robot. They'll build the trading robots I build, and it's actually, we go into a lot of detail there. So you want to check that out over there on tradingnut.com. Until next time, guys, I wish you all a great trading week, and I'll see you in the markets.